Black and white street photography. Let us talk about it. So as I continue to cover different topics in the world of street photography, I really haven't touched on black and white street photography. Probably because I don't shoot it as much as I do color. But with that said, whenever I actually do shoot street in black and white, I love it and end up saying, why don't I shoot more black and white? So I came up with a couple of answers. I'm going to share them with you now. So number one, this might be a little bit obvious, but since I see in color, I naturally, when I started photography, street photography, I shot mostly in color. I didn't even think about black and white. But when I did think about it, I thought, oh, whatever, you do that in editing later, or that's for a film photographer when they have black and white film. I really wasn't interested or excited about shooting in black and white. But the crazy thing about that is Vivian Maier, Gordon Parks, these are like two of my favorite photographers of all time. And their focus was black and white for a majority of their career. So I don't know where that came from, but it was more of an assumption that if you see in color, you shoot in color. So number two, in color, you can actually see the different tones in your composition. So it's a little bit easier to assess what should stay, what's interesting, what pops out in your image. Whereas in black and white, the tonal separation is basically shades of gray, so that is not as easy to pinpoint what's gonna stand out or what's gonna pop. So a lot of times when I was shooting in black and white, my images were just flat and I couldn't understand why. So that takes a lot more practice and patience and studying of tonal separation, basically. So that's why I struggled a lot with black and white and finding special moments in black and white. And number three, and I hate to say this, but when I would share my black and white images, specifically street photography at the beginning when I was just starting out, black and white never really got the same recognition or feedback or appreciation, even though I really loved it. And I know you're gonna go off in the comments, it doesn't matter what other people think, who cares, just shoot it for yourself. 100%, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's important to get feedback and see if you're onto something or if you're getting better at something. How are you gonna do that if all the feedback is this, people are not even responding because it's not a colored image? But with all that said, here are a couple things that actually helped my overall growth and appreciation for black and white street photography. Okay, so first things first, commit. I found that when I went out with intention and shot in black and white, even in my settings, whether it be high contrast black and white or monochrome, doesn't matter, all these cameras have a function where you can actually shoot in black and white. So no matter what you're doing, you're actually improving immediately in real time. If it's not interesting to your eye and you're seeing it in black and white, you know that it's not going to be a good image or it's not something that's moving you or motivating you. So to commit to black and white for the day that you're shooting or when you're out shooting or for the month as a challenge, whatever you're doing, that gave me way better results than shooting a little bit in color, shooting a little bit in black and white, comparing, taking side-by-side shots. It was just too much thinking instead of just shooting. Commit. Just learn to love all types of light. Once you do that, you're gonna be practicing in all types of light, and I found that that was when I learned the most, when I was thrown into a lighting situation that was just not ideal. You should probably want to know every type of lighting situation. That really helped me a lot and unlocked my curiosity. Like all these suggestions, they're subjective. You go out and do what you got to do to get the shots that you want to get. I earlier was speaking about lighting and just saying understand all lighting, but like specifically harsh lighting and soft lighting, you can master those two, then you understand that from the shade all the way to the brightest point, how many different layers are represented in my image. It's really like you're questioning light and how it can work for you. It's almost like a mathematical equation, and if you know me, you know I don't care about settings and gear and all that stuff. I do care about those things, but I try not to focus on those things. But it's that soft light. If you can understand that, you got many layers that you can add into your image. So it's being more specific with your study of light and shadow. All right, this last one is more of a mental note to keep in mind when you're out there shooting, and that is think like a film photographer. What does that actually mean? Well, number one, shoot with intention. Number two, less frames means more focus. So if you're out there and you're shooting black and white, even if you're shooting digital, just think like, do I love this? What's so special about this? And that could take time. It could take like 20 days. It could take a couple years. Less frames with great subjects, you're only gonna get better. So think like a film photographer when you're out there shooting. And if you already shoot film, then boom, you're already on top of all this. You already know you shoot film, you shoot black and white, cool. But if you shoot digital, think like a film photographer. All right, so as always, question of the day, how much of your overall catalog would you say is shot in black and white? I'm at about, I'd say 30%. But every time I shoot black and white, I'm like, why don't I shoot this more? I should have more of this in my catalog. But let me know in the comments, how much of your overall catalog is shot in black and white? Okay, so that's my take on black and white street photography. I'm basically understanding more and more about what I love to shoot. You know this channel, I'm learning, I'm sharing. It's a back and forth thing. It's nobody's bigger than one other person. So if you got some comments, if there's some things that you want me to talk about on this channel, man, I'm all ears, I'm here. What I love about this channel is the more I make videos, the more I'm forced to improve on my overall photography skill set. And I love that. I still want to talk about portraits, fashion, business. There is so much to this that I want to talk about, but I can only go at the pace that I can go at. So I hope you guys are patient enough, and I appreciate every one of you guys for checking out the channel up until this point. Yeah, street photography, specifically black and white, I really want to shoot it more. I got to still do one on film photography, black and white shooting. There's so much I want to talk about, but one video at a time. Thank you for your patience, and always thank you for tuning in. So until the next video, stay creative and believe in yourself. Peace.